Hello and welcome back to our series Builders of a Better India, where we continue to bring you inspiring stories of leaders and winners of the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2023 awards. I'm Shireen Bhan. Now, India's growing economy and tech-savvy population have propelled the transformation and evolution of the banking sector. And today, we are profiling one of the top banks in India, ICICI Bank. Offering a wide range of financial services, ICICI Bank has been preferred by millions of customers on account of its customer-friendly approach, competitive rates and advanced technology offerings. Riding on the principles of fair to customer, fair to bank and one bank, one team, ICICI Bank is the trusted financial services provider of choice for many. Let's dive into the ICICI Bank story of innovation, resilience and entrepreneurial spirit.
ICICI Bank is one of India's premier financial institutions. But how did it rise to prominence? Building frameworks centered around risk, governance, comprehensive coverage, and efficient product delivery have been fundamental to ICICI Bank's growth story. But the biggest contributor is perhaps its customer-centric approach and aligning product offerings to deliver a holistic customer 360 experience.
So for us, growth is an outcome of frameworks. So our fundamental frameworks are around risk and governance. That is the first platform. The second is the coverage, where we want to ensure a comprehensive coverage for the opportunities which are there. And the third is the delivery system. So having done the governance right, having covered all our customers, then we have to ensure that we deliver the products in a most efficient manner to their satisfaction.
Keeping the customer at the heart of it is very, very critical. So what we called as customer 360 is important. Now, to deliver customer 360, we have to ensure that the organization structure is aligned to 360, your compensation structures are aligned to deliver 360, your technology gets aligned to 360, and including the processes and deliveries that have got aligned. We have been focused on that. It is still a journey. Along with that, what has happened over the last few years is the extent of public digital infrastructure which has sort of come into place, and that's been a phenomenal benefit. We have started using it in some fashion. Again, we have taken significant steps, but I still believe it's a long journey. It is still a journey.
The bank maintains a culture of simplicity and fairness, aiming to keep banking convenient for customers while ensuring fair dealings and profitability within risk parameters and compliance guidelines.
When we are reaching out to the customer, it's taking the entire bank to the customer. So if you go back, 5 years, we would go to the customer as, automobile loan department or a home loan department, a credit card department, and would touch customers several times, for each and every product. Today, the thought process is that as a bank RM, I would reach out to the customer and bring the entire bank to the customer based on the needs of the customer. Customers are, starting to get that confidence that the bank will be selling to them products only which are, in their best interest. So it's a long journey. I think it's just a start for us, and we have to be, at it over the next several years.
So this aspect of fair to customer and fair to bank is something which everybody understands in very, very simple language. Products which you can give to your brother or sister. So anything which is, so our responsibilities of risk management is not only to be taking care of the risk management for the bank, but ensuring that none of our products ever gives a risk to our customer.
ICICI Bank recognizes the importance of integrating technology, processes, and human relationships to enhance personalized services, all while ensuring security, scalability, resilience of systems, and agility in operations. Leveraging digital infrastructure, ICICI Bank also aims for financial inclusion, which could potentially propel the economy towards greater prosperity.
I think the extent of public digital infrastructure that is available in this country today is probably unparalleled anywhere in the world. And I think we have to give full credit to the government what it has done. I think it is now for us and every other Indian institution to sort of use it in a manner so that we can, deliver the best outcome to a customer. So this has largely done is increase the speed of our of account opening or credit decisioning in a significant fashion. So the architecture that you have used, both from an organization structure and technology, makes a difference. But agility has to be seen not on a standalone basis. It has to be seen in the context of ensuring security. As a bank, we have to ensure that our products not only are safe from a customer point of view, from a technology point of view, our systems and data are absolutely safe.
Digital platform, the digital infrastructure which has been created, the biggest opportunity and what enablement it does is one of inclusion. It is only through a digital infrastructure can we reach the parts of society which we have not served, fully. I think imagine if there is emancipation of the group which has not yet been served by financial services. Once they get financial services, I think it will propel our economy to a completely different height. We look to the future with positive optimism.
Serving as a responsible corporate entity, ICICI Bank contributes to society through a number of CSR initiatives focused around healthcare, environmental sustainability, and social impact.
We have 1.4 lakh employees and millions of customers who have put a trust in us. So we try to make for each of this a fair proposition to these. In addition to this, we do have our CSR initiatives, which also sort of play an important part of these things. Last year, we spent over 4 billion rupees on CSR initiatives, and we do believe that it does make an impact. And recently, we made a commitment of about 12 billion rupees to Tata Memorial to look at, for building 3 hospitals across the length and breadth of the country. So to that extent, it will be a significant improvement from a healthcare, which is one of our initiatives. From an environment perspective, we do have a strong tree plantation exercises. Most of our buildings are platinum grade. We try to recycle water wherever we can. In terms of wherever we are trying to do from a social impact, there are over nearly 3 million people where we would have provided some kind of a training which sort of resulted in some kind of a livelihood for a lot of employees. So it's important to be a responsible corporate citizens and look after all stakeholders, which includes the society at large. And it's a privilege to be making a little bit of a small contribution in that journey.
Team ICICI Bank was adjudged the winner in the Entrepreneurial CEO category at the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2023 Awards.
We're going to look at the next category as someone who combines entrepreneurial vision with professional excellence. We're talking about the Entrepreneurial CEO of the Year.
With a belief in doing the right thing and by embracing the one bank, one team philosophy, they have shown that a culture of purpose and teamwork can achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, please join hands for Team ICICI Bank. Please welcome them on the stage.
Now, from the story of a bank riding on the back of technology and reinvention to simplify the lives of millions, next up is the journey of a man who's been at the forefront of a tech evolution and growth in the IT services industry for over 3 decades. We're talking about the founder, chairman and managing director of Persistent Systems, Dr. Anand Deshpande. His entrepreneurial ethos and unwavering commitment to impact positive change in society extends beyond the corporate realms. Let's catch a glimpse of his challenging yet stimulating journey.
Anand Deshpande was raised in the engineering township of Bhopal, and his early years were marked by an intense academic environment. His educational journey took him to IIT Kharagpur and later to Indiana University, where he pursued his PhD in computer science. It was at Indiana University that Anand found himself immersed in a diverse environment. The question was, would this holistic experience lay the groundwork for his future endeavors?
Indiana, while it was not a very large school, it was a very unique place in many ways, and I ended up spending 5 years there trying to do a computer science PhD. And I learned a lot of different kinds of things at IU. Typically, when I was in IIT, it was pretty much a computer science, technology, IIT. Everyone was an engineer. Indiana actually didn't have an engineering program. They were predominantly a liberal arts school. Computer science was part of the maths philosophy team, in a sense. They had incubated computer science, and they didn't call it engineering. I was the 16th student that graduated from IU, from the CS department, and my degree, I took less than 5 years, which was very unusual at that time in IU.
Anand's professional journey commenced with a stint at Hewlett-Packard Labs in Palo Alto, California. However, his ambition to contribute to India's growing software industry led him to contemplate returning to his homeland. The pivotal moment arrived when the government of India set up the first software technology park in Pune, the brainchild of N. Vittal, the then Secretary of Department of Electronics.
As part of that STP in Pune, they were inviting people like me, essentially, or people in the US and Silicon Valley, to consider coming back to India and trying to do software export from India. So that intrigued me for sure. My parents had wanted me to come back to Pune, and this seemed like an opportunity to take on. So I then started to probe around, asked a few friends, if I were to go back and work from India, would I have worked from them? And then, sometimes when you're looking, good things happen. And I got 2 good opportunities around that time while I was still at HP. And I said, yeah, maybe this is a starting point. It seems to feel aligned, and let me take this chance. And I did that. So I came back here in October 1990. Pretty much by that time, my father had helped me set up the company. We had it incorporated. The company was incorporated on the 30th of May in 1990. And I came back to India in October 1990.
But Anand's return to India wasn't without its challenges. Setting up a business in the nascent Indian software industry required resilience and resourcefulness. Anand's early days at Persistent Systems were marked by financial constraints, bureaucratic hurdles, and technological limitations.
We only got incorporated in May and I wasn't back, so they did not give me any place. They said, well, don't worry, we are going to get another place, another 8,000 square feet in the next unit. As soon as we get that place, we will allocate place to you. So this was December. So fine, this can keep going on. So we need to have bank loans and all that. So I was looking for a bank. Of course, I didn't have much money. All the money that I had, I put into buying a computer of my own. The bank officer told us that, hey, you're looking for about 7 lakh rupees, 6.98. Normally, I could have approved it, but we have identified software to be a priority area, which means that I have to send the proposal to the headquarters. So we sent a proposal to them in January, and actually it got approved in May. So I wrote a letter to the secretary, and I remember the dates very vividly, so I'm going to share them. On 10th of March 1991, I sent him a letter saying that, hey, you made this speech, I came back, I have set up all this stuff, I have these applications, and I had paperwork. My father had worked in the government type public sector organization, so he understood the value of paper. So I had documentation, so I added a bunch of papers to it. And I sent him a note saying that, hey, you know what, if you kind of let me go back, I'll go back, I'll find a job in the US, not a big deal for me. But if you're trying to do something where you want people to come back, you can make me a good example rather than making me a bad example. I get a call from the secretary saying that, so this is what the secretary told the director, which was Mr. Patki here, actually Dr. Patki. He told Dr. Patki that of the 14 places you have allocated, how many are operating from STP? The answer was 0. Nobody was operating as yet. They were to come. So he said, you also have an office there, right? Yes. How big is your office? 300 square feet. All right. Why don't you vacate your 300 square feet office and give it to him? At least he'll stop pestering you. And you move to the last office till it's occupied. And whenever the last one is occupied, by then we'll have something else. But at least right now, give it to him. So he called me on that evening and said, tomorrow is Friday. I have asked my office to clean the place up. And if you come by 4 o'clock, I'll give you the keys to the office. So 15th of March, I get the keys to the office. In 1990, when I started the business, the total software from India was less than $30 million. So we were trying to do something that was kind of crazy. We started a business. If people ask me even today, what is a good time to start a business? Is there a bad time? I couldn't have picked a worse time to start the business. 3 governments changed within the first year. Life was very complicated. Communication facilities were horrible. It was kind of a stupid idea in some sense, if you think about it, as to saying, oh, I should come back and start, a business like this. But, I persisted is what I would say.
Despite the odds, Anand's strategic decisions propelled Persistent Systems onto a trajectory of growth and sustainability. The first major turning point came when Persistent Systems secured a project from Microsoft, a testament to the company's growing reputation for technical prowess. This project gave Persistent Systems the financial stability it needed.
One of my friends from Indiana University who was with me, she was now working at Microsoft. And she just said that, we had a meeting yesterday and there is a piece of project that nobody wants to do in our team. This is essential for the product to ship, but it's shitty work, nobody wants to deal with it. So I say, I'll do it. So I called her and said, yeah, I want to do it. So she said, are you serious? Why don't you talk to my manager? So she connected me to her manager and I said, yes, I will do it. So the project we had taken on was this work to migrate from 16-bit assembly code to 32-bit assembly code. It was necessary for our graphics libraries. So very tedious, very mundane job. Not exactly very complicated, but kind of essential in some sense. I could see why nobody wanted to do it. But for a small company like us, right, getting a project from Microsoft, roughly $25,000 for the project, which was completely trivial from the Microsoft point of view. So we said we will take on and we started working with them. And we completed that project in really good time. They were very happy with what we did. And that really helped us because we have been able to retain Microsoft as a customer for the last 32 years or so now.
As Anand transitions from his role as CEO to focus on broader initiatives, his journey brings forth the transformative power of entrepreneurship, leadership, and philanthropy in shaping the future of industries and communities alike. Anand's dedication to empowering others and fostering innovation stemmed from his belief in the potential of technology to drive positive change.
So in 2019, I had a CEO and I moved off from being the CEO and chairman to being chairman. And that transition was kind of important for me and for the company. The company has really done well after that. I must thank our CEO, Sandeep Kalra, who has really turned the company into an amazingly large company now. Over the last 4 years, we have more than doubled. And a lot of that growth I would attribute to the new CEO and the work he did. So in a way, my moving off the company was actually good for the company. But it also gave me an opportunity to think about other things. So considering that we have a large number of small businesses, I decided that we should focus on helping these nano entrepreneurs, as we call them, to see how to make them successful so that they are not reinventing the wheel in some sense. They can use what is there and everyone can benefit from that and they can benefit. And I believe that if everyone believes that they can be self-employed, then that is very important because at this point, jobs is a big issue. I'm very excited about this whole biotechnology research that I'm thinking about and trying to see how we can make a difference by bringing in some of my knowledge of computer science and my network of computer science and my entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial network and the philanthropists that I have been able to build a network with to see how do we find next generation solutions that are made in India, for Indian people, and then for the world.
Anand's leadership style, as described by colleagues, is characterized by a relentless pursuit of excellence and a keen understanding of the balance needed for sustainable growth.
He has tremendous hunger for setting new boundaries, raising the benchmark, raising the bar, as you say, and then inspiring the team to go with it. So there will be something that at a personal level he would aspire to do, and there is something that he would expect that should happen, as the team, as a collaborative work that the company at our scale should produce. And in the end, not be resting that yes, we now achieved, for example, we got to this milestone of 1 billion. So he said, yeah, great. But so what? It's just one milestone in the journey. There'll be a next billion and there'll be the next billion. So build something that is, going to sustain and stay.
Anand Deshpande emerged as the winner in the services category at the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2023 Awards.
Next, we move on to a category of entrepreneurs who, through their inventiveness and innovation, have changed the whole game of service delivery and customer experience. And this category is services.
By spotting emerging trends early and avoiding clustered technology offerings, the winner has become one of the best performing digital engineering services in the country. I don't think I need to say any more. We all know who it is. Please welcome Anand Deshpande of Persistent Systems.
And from a man who is revolutionizing the IT services industry, let me bring you the story of a formidable force in the footwear and accessory retail segment in India. Rafique Malik, the chairman of Metro Brands, is a stalwart in the Indian footwear market. His tenacity and ambition have led him to expand from a modest single-store operation to one of India's largest and most profitable fashion footwear companies. This second-generation entrepreneur's Make in India for the World story is ridden with lessons of entrepreneurial prowess. Let's take a look.
Rafique Malik's story is one that makes you believe in the power of perseverance and hard work. Coming from humble beginnings, Rafique saw his father grow from a salesman to an entrepreneur and followed in his footsteps to take charge of Metro Brands. At the age of 19, Rafique seized the opportunity to open his own store and start building a legacy of his own. But was Rafique able to balance academics and entrepreneurship in those formative years?
The journey of Metro Brand really began with the independence of India. My father, who was the third of 7 brothers, his mother was a widow and they came from a very humble background, was working as a salesman in a Grant Road shop. And he got an opportunity to buy a share of the shop when the owner migrated. Eventually, he opened his first store in 1950 in Colaba and called it Metro after a very famous cinema at that time. The store became quite a landmark for fashionable shoes. It attracted clients from all over India. I started working for him at the age of 16. I think in part because the shop used to attract a lot of film stars, air hostesses, and we also had a lot of Parsi clientele who were considered fashion influencers at that time. And we used to even sponsor bands for the Parsi wedding with our name prominently written on the big drums. My father decided to start me bottom up, or rather I should say top down, because as you know, in shoe stores they have a malia or a loft. He made me start working at the malia or the loft, and eventually I was able to get promoted to a semi-salesman and finally a salesman. I went to Sydenham College, but at the age of 19, when I decided to open my own store, I had to leave because my father said, you cannot study and go to college and manage a store, you have to be there full time. A couple of years later, my sister said, you may be a successful businessman, but you'll never be a graduate. That's when I decided to take up a challenge. I went to Siddharth College in the morning and I graduated as a BCom graduate, and I can now call myself a graduate. And in 1990, I did my OPM course in Harvard, and I think I learned a great deal from there.
As a second-generation entrepreneur, Rafique was brimming with new ideas on how to expand the business. Even as a young visionary leader, he had the wisdom to integrate crucial entrepreneurial lessons he learned from his father with a sense of ownership he wanted to instill amongst the employees.
In 1969, I got an opportunity when I was 19 years old to open my own store about a mile away from his original store. It was a much larger store, And this is currently our flagship store in Colaba, which is the metro store there. Eventually, I wanted to open branches outside and open more branches. My father was very reluctant. He used to tell me that unless the owner is sitting in the shop, the customers will never get a good experience. So the first branch we opened was in Linking Road in Bandra, and I had to assure him that I would not dilute the culture of entrepreneurship in the shops. So we decided, since that time, most of our team working in the shop, right from manager to the stock boy, were all on mainly variable pay. They all had to feel a sense of ownership of that shop. That concept worked well. Eventually, we took this concept and opened more branches, ensuring that we do not dilute this culture of entrepreneurship. And today it has served us well. The local managers, because of their sense of ownership, are quite involved in the kind of merchandise they keep, the kind of products they keep, and that has made us successful in now 183 cities across metro cities, Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3.
Rafique's commitment to fostering partnerships further solidified Metro Brand's position as a pioneer in the retail industry. From launching new brands tailored to the needs of the youth to embracing new trends, his leadership transformed Metro Brands into a dynamic organization.
In 2000, we got an opportunity to open a very good store very close to our existing commercial street store. At that time, there was a lot of talk about how India is a young country and the average age is only around 25 years old. So we decided to launch our new brand Mochi, which was focused on youth, young, colorful, fast fashion. Then in 2009, we saw a lot of large retailers keeping value items mainly in the form of discounted footwear. And we felt that there is not a single retailer in the shoe business who has a well-merchandised store of products at a value price point. That is when we decided to open Walkway, a value brand with an average price of only around 500. I can only tell you that it required us a lot of relearning and unlearning to launch that brand because the consumer was quite different to who we were catering to. Also, the costs for rentals and staff costs were the same, but the throughput was much lower. Today, I am proud that we've created a sustainable model in the value for which we feel there's a tremendous potential in India, and we currently have about 70 stores. In 2006-07, Crocs was launched in India, and it was a very unique kind of product, quite different to what we had seen. But we decided to take a bet on it. We were the first MBO to embrace it, and it did extremely well with us. This led us to have a partnership with them in 2016 to be their national retail partner. And today, we have over 210 stores in this brand, and it's doing extremely well. What COVID taught us was that the consumer has now shifted to a more casual athleisure model, and his wardrobe for casual and athleisure shoes are increasing. That's when we decided to take the license for the Fila shoe brand in India, and we currently have a long-term license with them. Recently, as late as 2023, we've signed up an exclusive arrangement with Foot Locker to open multi-brand sports outlets in India. What we are doing is basically pivoting along with our customer and changing our entire product range based on how the consumer is evolving. What has kept us going for 74 years is very simple: customer centricity. We have evolved with the customer.
Let's hear from the CEO of Metro Brands as he shares insights about Rafique Malik, a source of inspiration for many.
Rafique is unique because there's a couple of things. One is his intense focus on what he's trying to do and what he's not trying to do. That's number one. But the second thing is also the fact that he's able to not allow complacency in. You look at a guy that has hundreds of stores in the country, but yet when he attacks an issue that we're facing with as a retailer, you would think his whole life depended on that one store.
Rafique Malik was awarded in the Consumer Products and Retail category at the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2023 Awards.
The next category is Consumer Products and Retail.
I request our jury member, Mr. Gaurav Trehan, to please grace the stage and read out the citation and, of course, announce the winner.
We all know how hard it is to build consumer brands in this country. The only thing I can say is, companies aspire to give banking services to every Indian. They make cars for every Indian. Well, this entrepreneur, who started at the age of 13, makes shoes for every Indian. I guess you all know who it is. Please welcome Rafique Malik, Chairman, Metro Brands.
And with that, we come to the close of the third webisode of our special series celebrating the incredible success stories of the winners of the EY Entrepreneur of the Year 2023 Awards. We will be back with more. Thanks very much for watching.